The hunt for Allison Baden-Clay has intensified, with police now searching industrial garbage bins for evidence.
We really trust that the police are doing everything they can to find my wife, and we just hope that she'll come home soon.
Police have confirmed that the body recovered in Western Brisbane yesterday is that of missing mother Allison Baden-Clay.
The husband of murdered Brisbane woman Allison Baden-Clay is tonight expected to be charged over her death.
Police have indicated an intention to charge my client with murder.
We found out that those police officers who went to his house immediately believed something was very, very wrong and this wasn't a normal missing persons case. They didn't believe his version of events at all.
Joining me today is Kate Kyriakou, the crime editor of the Courier Mail. Kate, you have covered the case of Allison Baden-Clay's murder since the very beginning. Talk to me about how it kind of unfolded for you.
I got a phone call on a Friday night, I think it was, from just a random person, a resident of Brookfield, which back then I had no idea, what kind of a suburb it was or where it was or anything like that. And the person said to me from memory, "I've had my door knocked on 3 times today by police searching for the wife of a guy who's part of our local business community. He's a real estate agent. His name's Gerard Baden-Clay. He's very well known." And the way he described it to me was, "You should know who this person is." The next couple of days it unfolded that he had called police to say that his wife had gone for a walk and not come home.
I don't want to be alarmist. I tried the 131 number, but just went on forever.
Yep.
My wife isn't home. I don't know where she is.
Of course, when police went to take the report in person at his house, he's answered the door with, some really obvious scratch marks down his face. And, as the years unfollowed involving that case, we found out that those police officers who went to his house immediately believed something was very, very wrong and this wasn't a normal missing persons case. They didn't believe his version of events at all and called some detectives to come and help. He had these big scratches on his face, so straight away they said, "What's with the scratches, mate?" And he said, "Oh, I cut myself shaving." And anyone who's seen those scratches would find it very difficult to believe that that was a reasonable explanation.
When I think back on this case, I always think of how much those first 2 responding officers should be credited for picking up on the fact that everything wasn't quite right with what Baden-Clay was saying with that story. Did you kind of cover the search parties as they happened?
Brookfield, just to put it into perspective for people who don't know, is not that far out of Brisbane, but it's this really beautiful neighbourhood where people live on acreages. There was a pony club right across the road from the showgrounds. It's almost like this lovely green rolling hill country town, but it's kind of a suburb of Brisbane still. Allison's extended family were at the showgrounds at the command post every day, all day, and they were just absolutely shocked and bewildered that she hadn't come home. She, of course, had 3 young daughters, and she was very, very, very good mother who would never, ever have willingly walked off and left them behind anywhere. One of the notable absences from the showgrounds was Gerard himself, who we didn't see there at all.
Do you recall the day the body was found?
We found out from when it came out in court, I suppose, that Gerard had made a call to Allison's life insurance policy holders to put in a claim for her life insurance policy when media reports came out that a body of a woman had been found under the Colo Creek Bridge, which from memory was about 14 or 15 kilometres from her house.
Primarily today we can positively confirm that the body located yesterday was Allison's.
She was spotted by a person paddling a kayak along the river there. Obviously, any sort of forensic scene like that, they have a lot of work that they need to do while her body is still there. And then they actually had to have a forensic officer rappel down from the bridge to put her body in a body bag, and then they brought it back up because the mud where she had been left was really thick and you couldn't sort of walk in it. They brought her body up and they took it away. And then I remember the TV crews, you know, obviously turned off their lights. And I was there with another colleague, another journalist, and I'd been walking back to the car where he was, and all the lights suddenly went off. And I remember I just had to sort of stop in my tracks because it was so incredibly pitch black. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, and I just couldn't work out where the car was because it was so dark. And I had to yell out to him and say, can you turn the headlights on so I know where to walk? And so that to me always became very relevant when Gerard came up with this version of events at his trial, where he suggested that she had serious problems with her mental health, that she had walked away from home and walked down to this creek in the dark and taken antidepressant medication and taken her own life. I always remember that as just being such a ludicrous explanation as to what could have happened to her, having been right where her body was found when all the lights went out and everyone packed up. It seemed ridiculous to me. Her family is so lovely. They just wanted to bring her home. And then when they found her body, for them, they were really upset that it had taken them, I think, 11 days. And, you know, the longer a body is out in the open, the more difficult it is to maintain evidence. And of course, when the postmortem happened with Allison, they weren't able to determine a cause of death because, you know, partly because of the decomposition. For them, it was very somber and hard and sad. And you really get that sense when you're out at a scene like that. And, you know, having sat with her family in the showgrounds for days and days, you know, it's sad for everybody.
What do you think it is about this particular case that just captured such a national audience? I mean, people were just really, really touched by this story. What do you think it was about it? I
just think this was a situation where on the surface, Allison's life looked perfect, you know, and sadly it wasn't. Sadly, she was in a very awful marriage with a man who was controlling. And I think one of the interesting things about Allison's story is when we first started writing on it, nobody knew what coercive control was. So a lot more is known about domestic violence now than was known even back then in 2012. I mean, no one would have even really heard that terminology used really at all. So a lot of his behaviour at the time wasn't necessarily considered domestic violence, but now we very much know that it was. He would do things like monitor her phone conversations using baby monitors around the house. He, you know, took numbers out of her mobile phone, tried to isolate her from her family, controlled her spending, all sorts of stuff like that. All the stuff that we know now is just classic domestic violence. But I think what fascinated people, I mean, that's the wrong word to use because this is a really sad and tragic story, was that on the surface, this was a family that appeared perfect. You know, the successful businessman husband who was actually not successful at all. In fact, he was drowning in debt. And, you know, the beautiful wife, former ballerina, who was raising 3 beautiful children in a beautiful community. And these girls, they lost their mother, they lost their father. They're being raised by their grandparents now. All 3 of them are doing incredibly well. Every time you sort of bump into them at events or anything like that, even for someone like me on the periphery, it's so wonderful to see them every time and to see them doing so well and happy and accomplished. And one of the girls is a really successful ballerina like Allison was, so that's really nice to see as well. So yeah, I guess that's one thing I take from having covered that story for so many years. It's always so nice to see the girls doing well.